I like the analogy of the family reunion. Family reunion, you got a lot of personalities there, and many of you know you've been to family reunions where it's not always rainbows and butterflies. There can be conflict and knotted energies, but we are exiting that loop as humanity. We are learning, I think, remembering a group dynamic that is grounded and founded and anchored in heart coherence, in the stillness of a 0 point energy and a reconnection to the heartbeat of creation. Greetings and welcome to Activations with JJ, September 2025 Energy Blueprint. That's right, we have reached the end of an era and we are no longer calling these special monthly podcasts energy updates. We're transitioning now as a collective, and I feel that the name Energy Blueprint is much more reflective of what's coming through. In fact, that theme is a little peek to what we'll be diving into during this podcast episode as we come together to co-create and tune in with regards to the blueprint that we're creating collectively for this ascension process and this particular month. Now, I want to let you know that no matter when you are listening to this podcast episode, it could be months after the fact, you were called to it for a reason. And this is applicable across all time and space and dimensions and realities. So take whatever you can from what comes through. Get your notebook out. This is more than just information. It's a multidimensional transmission and co-creation between me, you, and all of the listeners. In fact, as I was preparing to channel this transmission and to record this podcast episode, I absolutely had this really strong feeling that the podcast was going to be broadcast beyond just the planetary dimensions of Earth. I was shown almost like I put in a request. Can you please broadcast this beyond Earth? Can you broadcast this to other planets? And so you might get a feeling as you're tuning in today and listening that there are other listeners that are not earthbound, that are not on this plane of existence, that are in other places of the galaxy. And I am very much welcoming them here to receive these messages that are grounded in the frequency of unity consciousness, love, and really the reactivation or activation of our original divine blueprints. I am you, you are me, and we are we. Whether that's a human or an interdimensional being, we are all one. And so, yeah, let's just tune in. As I'm saying that, I can already feel the energy here, and take a nice deep breath. We're anchoring this transmission, this message here on Gaia. And we invite those beings who are co-creating and weaving with us, whether they're elemental, interdimensional, angelic, whoever is connecting with this information and this frequency, we invite them to be here in a heart-centered space and to come into connection as we are one big family of creation. And just allow you to also take a deep breath and tune into your heart space. Yare toro yanala ito shandai iko toginamarai iatsokore anakatarai itsor uyanakarai iatsokorea. So part transmission, part activation, part calibration. This is going to be a ride. And of course, I called it an energy blueprint. So let me explain. Last month, many of you know that we took a sacred pause and some very magical things unfolded. This month, as you are listening to this, most likely if it's happening right when I've uploaded it, I'm in Egypt. So you also might feel that. And the sacred pause led to some moments of contemplation and reflection for all of us, I think, around the convergence into the coherence and a rebirth energy. Now, I don't believe that rebirth will be fully complete until the 9/9 portal, and I have some more to say about that in this episode and in future episodes this month. but I definitely sense that we're all experiencing it. I have no doubt that you are as well. Many people in our starseed community reflected the same back to me as we were contemplating the sacred pause. And of course, my podcast last week, if you tuned in, was all about that sacred pause, a really cool theme about that sacred pause. But I definitely have been feeling this on the horizon for about 3 to 4 months, I would say. We are transitioning so rapidly and taking quantum leaps as humanity that it requires some agility. I've talked about that theme of energetic agility, and it's absolutely why this particular energy podcast is now a blueprint. And I'll tell you who's coming to the forefront, and it might give you a little clue as to what's percolating. The full transmission and the full experience of all the shifting that's happening for me with our community, with even my offerings, that will come in the second podcast for the month. So I'm just going to give you some teaser information. If you're part of our community, the big announcements will come at our monthly live energy blueprint gathering. Yes, it's no longer a monthly energy update live in the community either. So this is a little baby version of what we do in our community, where we spend time not only connecting, but we're also co-creating in breakout rooms and feeling into the themes. And I'm allowing all of us together to collectively channel what's coming through. So this coming Sunday, the 7th of September, we'll be tuning into more depth, and I'll make some really exciting announcements there. But I will give you some hints here because it's absolutely connected to this energy blueprint idea. The blueprint for this month is really a preparation. And so the blueprint that we are locking into and leaning into can be articulated in a very short phrase, and that is weaving and co-creating. So weaving and co-creation or co-creating is, for all intents and purposes, the theme of the blueprint. But the blueprint isn't here yet. And that's what we're being invited to weave and to co-create together. So I'm only just opening the doorway today in the podcast. I have the grandmother weavers here. If you didn't already notice, they dressed me today. Dun, 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 dun. I have my special woven shawl that I got from one of my favorite crystal shops and incredible just spaces, Angel Co-op. Some of you have heard me mention them. They're in Ridgefield, Connecticut, if you're on the East Coast. My friend Christy and I are actually co-hosting a retreat in Scottsdale, Arizona in November, but this came with me to Avebury. And I wore this in my Avebury podcast. I don't know how many of you remember that, but the grandmother weavers have stepped forward. And of course, with the theme of weaving and co-creation, they're very much front and center for us. They've been in the field for a very long time. They periodically come through, and you've probably heard me mention them many, many times. In fact, when I was at the Galactic Historians Conference live, we did it in Shasta in person and virtual for many of you across the globe. Thank you to everybody who attended. I was in this rocking chair, this easy chair sofa thing. And I was like, I feel like the grandmothers are with me. And I was rocking, and I'm like, yes, I feel the same with this as well. And I just feel their energy already settling in. So I'd like to just invite them to step forward here officially into the field. And as you begin to feel their energy, those of you who do hand light language might feel weaving motions coming through. And that is absolutely setting the stage for what's going to come up in our energy blueprint today. Before I move forward, there's also something new. I'm sure you've already noticed it, that I have a really fun story about. And you probably see this painting behind me. It is more than just a painting. It is a really incredible, packed full of light codes, a piece of art and creation from my friend Mariana. You can find out more about her and her work down in the show notes. But Mariana channeled this for me, and she usually just just tunes in and I say, I don't have a preference per se on any of it. I want you to just tune in and I know it will be in sync. So a little bit before the 8-8 portal codes came out, so my light code transmission that I channeled for the 8-8 portal, she messaged me and she said, JJ, your painting's done. And when she finishes a painting, she does a lot of things. She activates it the whole time and she does light codes on it and with crystals and puts it in the sun, but she reveals it on a FaceTime call, on a WhatsApp video call. And so she and I got on a call and I said, "Ooh, I'm about to go to Shasta. I can't wait to see, the painting. Yes, yes, yes. Let's get on a call." So we get on the call and then she reveals what you see. And of course, I'll put it here so my head's not blocking it. But just look at the detail here. Just look at the detail on this painting. Now, I know in and of itself, it's very, very special. But I've got to tell you another synchronicity that just blew my mind. I think it was that morning or the day before, I had created the thumbnail for my 8-8 transmission. And for some reason, it didn't look like my normal thumbnails. It just wanted to come through completely different. Now, there was something in it that reminded me of the flower codes. And I was like, of course, the flower codes. And you can see them in the painting as well. But it just wasn't my normal way schematic color brand stuff, all that brand stuff that you're supposed to keep in line with your brand colors. I couldn't believe it. I looked at that painting and my thumbnail immediately came into my mind. Now I'm going to put them side by side for you right now. Just look. Can you believe it? I mean, I can believe it, but a part of me, my inner child was like, this is so incredible. This is like a miracle. She had no idea that I had created this thumbnail. I had no idea what this painting looked like until that day. And I said, Mariana, if this isn't confirmation that you are so tuned in and that we are so connected and that we were on the same page, I don't know what is. Now, I'm interested to know what you all are feeling from this. Obviously, you can see from the flower in the thumbnail, it's like weaving threads. So I definitely sense that. But the colors that are coming through are so different than my normal colors that have been coming through. And it's funny because with the thumbnail, I was wearing a blue shirt, which it didn't match with the flower. But if you look at the painting, you can see there's blue in it. And it's like, it made it so that I literally had, through my clothing and the images on the thumbnail, it matched perfectly the painting. So there's something about this painting that is giving us the energy of what's coming forward with the blueprint for this month and beyond. And so my deepest gratitude to Mariana for her gifts. She's currently in Egypt with me, if you're listening to this right when I've uploaded it. And it's just amazing to co-create. And honestly, since that's a theme, to co-create and to weave with other light workers and way showers. And it's just, the magic never ends. The magic never ends. So that's again setting the stage. We have the grandmother weavers. We have this image. I know that the galactic template coherence point we did on the 22nd of August really also is setting the stage for this 999 portal. And the grandmother weavers are here. And so let's drop in. I've got so much to share. I feel like whoosh, 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 whoosh. Of course, some of that will come into our monthly energy updates or I got to say this one, energy blueprint for the community. I do those live. So if you're not part of the community, we'd love to have you there. Big announcements coming, big ones. If you want to be at the forefront of what's coming through, whoosh, yes. Arkito ur an itiso diarkiato orika. And they're saying, if you speak light language too, join JJ, join us in a little weaving transmission to calibrate the field. I feel lots of star mother energy, lots of star mothers. Like I said, the flower codes, whoosh, they connected us to those star mothers. I had so many friends that I was weaving with, right? Like as above, so below, as within, so without. Weaving is everywhere. I look around and it's everywhere. In fact, the other day, I was cleaning out a drawer because I lost something and I found this book literally the day before I recorded this. This book is called Weaving: Methods, Patterns, and Traditions of an Ancient Art. I picked it up in Avebury. They have, I'm sure all of you, some of you at least, probably have seen these little books. They have all kinds of good ones. There's one about Avebury and sacred stones. But this book, I just knew it. I needed it. And I wanted to read a little poem at the front for you guys because there's so much in here. I even bought like embroidery stuff because I feel like I am going to be calling in this weaving energy like physically in my life. But let me read you the poem at the front. The loom of dreams. I broider the world upon a loom. I broider with dreams my tapestry. Here in a little lonely room, I am master of earth and sea, and the planets come to me. I broider my life into the frame. I broider my love thread upon thread. The world goes by with its glory and shame. Crowns are bartered and blood is shed. I sit and broider my dreams instead. And the only world is the world of my dreams. Am I weaving the only happiness? For what is the world but what it seems? And who knows but God, beyond our guess, sits weaving worlds out of loneliness. Isn't that amazing? Whoosh. And we do know that Source wanted to experience itself. There was this longing for connection, and that's how Source fractalized and created this everything around us. But we are creators as well, because we are fractals of that infinite Source, that infinite creator, creatrix energy, and we are at the loom. And I feel that this poem reflects like the world is really what we weave it to be. And we're in a period of time as humanity where we're being invited to refine our abilities to weave not only personally our stories, our tapestries, but to weave with others, to create, this giant patchwork quilt or woven tapestry, each of us with our thread. And the analogy, I think, is very, very important. Of course, in the book, it talks about all of the indigenous traditions that have weaving, which they were basically told from, from the beginning that the gods gifted them weaving. And there's a reason for that. And that is because the weaving and the patterning of the universe is what creation is made out of. We know matrix, although it has a bad rap, is actually from mater, mother, and that is the fabric of life. That is the fabric of life and the tapestry of life. And so those are some other pieces of the puzzle today that I want to call forward. This is a moment as we prepare for the 999 portal. So right now, like we're at the very, very beginning of September, when there is a completion of the convergence, the reconciliation, the coherence. Some of you might have seen my reel a few weeks ago when I mentioned that convergence can lead to chaos sometimes and conflict. When you bring a lot of different energies, a lot of different threads together to try to weave them, it can be very knotted up. I like the analogy of the family reunion. Family reunion, you got a lot of personalities there, and many of you know you've been to family reunions where it's not always rainbows and butterflies. There can be conflict and knotted energies, but we are exiting that loop as humanity. We are learning, I think, remembering a group dynamic that is grounded and founded and anchored in heart coherence, in the stillness of a 0 point energy and a reconnection to the heartbeat of creation. And although the threads seem separate, and although we talk about convergence is really just a remembrance that we are all one thread. That we are all one thread. And so with this idea of convergence to coherence and reconciliation within and on the planet reconciliation on a galactic scale. Many of you who've been in our Nexus project for Egypt know that. There is a new era that is coming forward. And we talk about this all the time, I know, but we're spiraling through many timelines right now. And you don't have to try that hard to get a witness that that's happening, that this collapsing of timelines and this convergence and this merging of all into one golden thread. You don't have to look too far to see that happen. I was at a beautiful gathering of friends at Mount Shasta last month, and we were just having fun, listening to music, eating a good meal together, breaking bread. It was not formal, not ceremony. And all of a sudden, I had a realization, and I could feel that we knew each other in different timelines. And I could actually see us dressed differently, but in the similar location. We were just breaking bread, enjoying, good food, good wine with each other. And I could see it all in the different timelines, and I could feel the timeline convergence. You may have had something similar happen. What I kind of came to realize that when we're with certain individuals, and this is why I think it's so important for us to co-create and weave, when we're weaving, whether in a casual way or a formal way, with soul family, members of our soul group, we are facilitating the convergence to coherence. And it's not slowing down. So more than just like saying I'm going to get done with that, it's like, what's the next rebirth? We're still in the year of the snake. I can't tell you how many times I've had confirmation that we're shedding the skin, and then we got the new one. So completion and rebirth, completion and rebirth. And again, for our starseed community, I have a big announcement related to that that's going to come forward in our September live energy blueprint. So let's just take a deep breath because I already feel like, whoa, we're going. I can just see the grandmother weavers are like flexibility. In order for a thread to be woven with other threads, it needs to have a level of flexibility. And I know I've seen working with like sinews of animals and things and using that to sew things up. And they soak the threads so that they are more supple and they are more flexible. And it's like, that's what we're being invited to do. Maybe that's why water element's been coming through so much. I've been feeling water is so, so important. But I'm just wanting to allow us all to now receive at whatever levels most aligned for each of us here as we're weaving this idea of the energy blueprint for September. I'm already sort of painting the picture, giving little puzzle pieces, but let's tune in. And I 100% believe that the comment section of the YouTube video, if you're watching this on YouTube or, any of the comments on any platforms, is part of the weaving. So thank you so much to everybody who is commenting. I read your comments and I see them and I feel and sense your wisdom dropping in. In fact, I had one day about 6 months ago, a pretty big download came in. It was very crystal clear. And it said to me was what I felt, from my higher self. I said to myself, the comment section of these podcasts will become more enriching and more activating than the podcast itself, because we will begin to understand the importance of the weaving and the co-creation. And I am simply here to anchor a space for us to do that. That's my goal. You guys know that what I do is different. It's not just like I'm delivering you information, here, take a drink of water, and there you go, you're not thirsty anymore. you know that I really invite you to share what's coming into your own channel. I say that on our Tea Time Instagram lives for those of you who've come into those, or if you do any kind of grid work with Michael and myself on Instagram Live, I'm always like, "Okay, guys, let's tune in. And it's beautiful to see the weaving. The flower codes, oh my goodness, it was such a thrill to be able to weave with so many gifted channelers and intuitives and souls, and we're all one, but it's like so cool to see all the different ways it comes through. In fact, that flower codes is now available on demand if you missed it. But a perfect example of weaving in our community as well. That's what my goal is. So thank you for weaving in all the ways that you are with other people, whether it's through any of my platforms or information, or it's out in the world, serving at a soup kitchen or volunteering somewhere, or even just your regular everyday job. You're weaving with people, whether you're in retail or you're, in a corporate job or tech or whatever it is, you're weaving all the time. And I think as we change our perspective, that we're going to be able to really see as above, so below. Everything is spiritual. Everything is spiritual. Everything is energetic. We are energetically weaving. We are physically weaving. And it's a beautiful thing to see unfold as we transition out of this lone wolf mentality and template and into a co-creative spirit. So I'd like to just allow for this blueprint again to anchor in and hopefully inspire you to jot down, to type out, I should say. I'm from old school. We say jot down, but technically type out your comments in the chat, in the comment section below. Tini uroi ama ahi ki kumar kotati ashuntri yatara kure yatara inakatara. First is a calibration for any inner children aspects that have a fear of being, I think it's like being ridiculed for showing up in our unique frequency. So I'm definitely sensing that. I have the Crystalline Children coming forward. And I'm being reminded, as soon as they dropped in, I was like, oh yes. At the end of the month, we're doing a very special workshop that is a precursor to some incredible events I'll be doing in Australia. Yes, I added an Australia trip. If you didn't already hear me say that in the last podcast, I added an Australia trip to New Zealand, and it's about children. It's about crystalline children. I was essentially called to Australia, persuaded to Australia by the Crystalline Children, who dropped a vision in. I'll be co-creating with my amazing friend Tara, and I'll be doing a Galactic Historians 2-part workshop, virtual and in person as well. But the Crystalline Children are reminding us that it's safe to weave with others. And I'm seeing crystalline threads. So I feel that part of this blueprint is the crystalline threads. And I will tell you that I've been shown that this blueprint won't be fully ready, fully fleshed out until the end of the month. And there's some more surprises I won't say right now because I'll wait for that to be shared in my community first, and then I'll share it in the podcast next week. But there's definitely a template, a pattern of calling something from the ethers, from the etheric plane into the physical plane. That's why I'm telling you, like, whatever pieces they're giving you right now to this blueprint, let's compare notes. Drop in the comment section. I'm seeing a lot of right angles. I'm seeing the right angle, like when somebody's drafting blueprints, making sure that right angle is, at the square. They use it in construction. I see a lot of beings contributing and weaving. It's like a giant construction project. I'm seeing like angelic beings, galactic beings, elemental beings, like everybody is creating the blueprint. It's like a reflection of everybody also building from the blueprint. It's like there are as many architects helping create the blueprint as there are people going to build it out. So that's kind of an amazing little visual that I'm getting. I'm feeling the dragons come in with support for our physical bodies to give us a fluidity of energy and the flexibility. Oh, that's what they're saying. They're like, yes, yes, yes. Remember the flexibility of the threads. The dragons are helping to activate our dragon spines. And dragons come all the time. They come everywhere and anywhere. Of course, many of you know at Serpent Mound, they were very present. But I feel that dragon energy coming through for us as a physical support. So I would invite you right now just to flex your spine. Yeah, that's a word, right? To stretch and move your spine in a fluid motion. And I'm hearing and feeling like Qigong, Tai Chi, dance, yoga, all of the things. So just intuitive movement. They're saying like, don't make it rocket science, intuitive movement. And I'm seeing us water, bodies of water, something about connecting with water. I imagine most of you have access to some kind of body of water nearby out in nature. So it could even be like a pond. It could be a fountain. I see rivers. I see lakes, creeks. So our invitation is to further connect with the blueprint through water. And practice our light language outside. That's what I'm hearing. I'm like, practice weaving outside. Gridding with light language, with spoken light language. And some of you know that the Songlines theme came forward a while ago, and the songlines are coming up. Just wait. Now I'm seeing a lot of you are dormant light code channelers. written light code channelers. It's exciting because in our community, we're starting to weave in, no pun intended, weave in written light codes, small circles periodically, like groups where you can connect with other written light code channelers. So I'm just seeing that. I'm like, right. It's like people don't understand that power. And then there's something around, like that's part of the blueprint, the written light codes, the spoken light codes. Of course, we have this month, our light language quantum leap, another cohort coming. And I've been told that this cohort's going to be different than any other cohort. I actually changed the entire color scheme, the whole web landing page. You can look at it, but it's led by the prismatic Crystalline Children. And so if you've done light language quantum leap before, I imagine doing it again. It's going to completely take a different form. Whether or not you're in that course, everybody's spoken light language is going to take a quantum leap. Like it's like, nope, they're like, it doesn't matter, it's coming. Like this wave of new light codes is going to support the weaving that we're doing. And then also I have, many of you know, I am no longer doing one-on-one mentorship, but instead I'm doing a hybrid group and one-on-one mentorship with Lightworker Quantum Mastery. And so that name is changing too. But it's Quantum Mastery is what it's doing. These start halfway through the month, so you still have like a couple weeks to just decide if you're going to jump in and weave with us. And I can't wait for you to hear my third single that is being released. And I co-created this with the Quantumist, a producer, and of course the Bliss Looper activations, the JJ collabs. This is the third one. It is totally connected to the blueprint for this month. Completely connected to the theme of weaving and co-creation. Seriously, you guys, I can't wait for you to hear it. I'm so excited. It comes out on the 999 portal. I didn't know when I channeled that song that it was going to go just 100% with what's happening right now. I had no idea. It's magical. It's miraculous. I love it. Our inner children love it. Okay, taking one more deep breath. I feel like we were able to infuse the field with so much like fun and joy that inner child part of us that was like worried about how we would be received or if we'd be rejected, I feel like that is definitely calmed. And our nervous systems are at a still point now. So just a reminder to come into that still point energy and continue to allow any blueprint pieces that you want to weave into the field to come forward and share those in the comments. One of the things that I love about our community is the forum has a thread called Circle of Weaving. So, I mean, this was coming in a long time ago, but now it's like, it's really here. So just we're being invited to like step it up. I'm just going to say it. Be more active in this. It's a little bit more masculine energy. It's like there's been a lot of passive receiving in the month of sacred pause. So it's like, okay, guys, like prepare. You're going to feel this drive coming forward to weave and to co-create. Now, I did say that we're ramping up to that at the 999 portal is completion. And then after that, like you're going to feel it. It's just going to be whoosh. And it's going to go through the 1010 portal, through the 1111, through the 1212. It's just going to expand. Some of you probably feel it. If you are tuning in with your third eye, you might get actually a visual representation of it. Whoosh. Shake it out. Shake it out. Wow. So this is your September 2025 energy blueprint. And this blueprint is in progress. Now, for those of you who want to see like the completion of this podcast, I will tell you there's a couple ways you can do that. You can join our free gathering, our free monthly gathering through the link below. That happens the 4th week of the month. So check that out. You can go into our starseed community and check out what's going on there. If you want to be there for the big announcement on September 7th, definitely. That is also a lunar eclipse, and I will be broadcasting from Egypt. So it's going to be really super powerful. I cannot wait. Beyond that, I can't tell you how excited I am for all these beautiful changes. There's even more changes that I haven't even announced right now. But if you are on our mailing list for all our emails, you'll get notifications right away whenever that stuff's coming. There's just so much happening, like I can't even fit it all in here. So this is like that beginning point, like we're like, okay, this is the initiation of it. And then it's just whoosh, all the places, all the ways, come and weave with us. I do weekly Instagram lives. I am doing these courses, like the more the merrier. The more threads, the merrier. Yes. Okay, friends, let's take another deep breath as we bring to completion today. And I really appreciate you witnessing my very first monthly energy blueprint. Thank you for being here to weave and co-create in the theme of weaving and co-creation. And as always, I am sending you so much love and gratitude, and reminding you that I am you and you are me and we are we. Here's to an amazing month of weaving.